Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Elia Walsh with the Spectrum Strategy Group. And similar to what I started with my podcast, I started a six-part series. So this last week, I started a series, sort of, I would say, a mini course on my podcast platform, Autism in Real Life. And so I wanted to do is add a supplement to that and record weekly videos with different strategies that you can use. And they might be related to some of the things that I've already talked about in the podcast, but they might not be. But what I wanted to do is every week give you a specific strategy, something quick, something simple to remember, so that way you can try implementing that. And if there's other things that you see that might be helpful or that you've tried and you think might be helpful for other people, please just comment in the video and let me know. And that way we can talk about it further, or I can do more investigation. And I really want to be able to bring some strategies that are very tangible and very actionable, so that you can take those and just start doing something. And so the first two podcast episodes are an introduction to the autism spectrum. So that came out last week. And then the follow-up to that is what I call breaking down the DSM-5. And in saying that, what I'm attempting to do is take the criteria that are used for diagnosing autism, what a clinician would use or a physician, and taking that information and kind of dissecting it so that we can look at it with a little bit closer lens and really understand what it means as we're talking about each one of those criteria. So what I really want to emphasize, I guess my takeaway for maybe these two first podcasts in the series would be, autism is multifaceted, as I've mentioned before, and not any one person is the same. And while we might have some commonalities and we might see some, I would say, threads or trends, each one of those can be very different for each person. So, while we talk about this spectrum, I would say it's not linear. I would say it's more like a tree branch. So we have like this long branch, but this long continuum, and then you have all of these kind of spokes coming off of it, and they can change and vary in degree from person to person, and as people age, as people learn new skills, and each time it can be something very different, and for each person it can be very different. And so you'll hear me talk about the different facets of autism. And then I would say with the diagnostic criteria, because people are multifaceted and because there are a wide range of variability, the criteria, while there, can be a little vague sometimes. And for, again, each piece is going to be very specific to the individual. So just keep those things in mind. No two people with autism are the same. There is no, formula that if you're diagnosed with autism, then we do X, Y, and Z. That is not the case for each person. It needs to be very individual. So there is no formula because one gets diagnosed with autism that we're going to then implement. We must implement these therapies. We must implement these particular techniques. We must teach in this particular way. However, there are things that we can do that can help given an individual's challenges, an individual's learning style, and individual strengths. So we want to look at all of those things when we're working with our child, or whether we're working with a student or a client. So I would say definitely think about the variability in some of the people that you know. Maybe it's your own children. And I think this particular concept is true to overlay for anyone, right? Anyone that is a learner, or anyone that is attempting to develop a skill, that everyone's going to approach it differently. Everyone's going to resonate with different types of learning strategies. So we need to think about that as well. So that's my takeaway for these first podcasts. And please let me know what you think, what your thoughts are, and any feedback that you have from me, or any topics that you want me to cover. If there's something that you're like, hey, I'd really like a strategy on X, please let me know. So I look forward to hearing from you and talk to you soon. Take care.